July 12, 1942. After 7 days of rest, this week the Germans resumed the advance against Stalingrad, even if they cannot march into the city itself, because last week the Soviets brought forward additional reserves in the Don Bend west of the city. It seems, however, that the Stavka had learned nothing from the fighting of the previous weeks, because the Soviets have concentrated the bulk of their reinforcements in the central part of the front at the expenses of the flanks. This week the fighting is vicious, and as the Germans fail to open up a gap wide enough to let their mobile units through it, the Axis High Command does the only logical thing that remains to be done. When you have plenty of infantry and an abundance of vehicle, you load your men onto them and you send them at full speed behind the enemy lines. Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new weekly episode of War in the East 2. So this week I opened with the attack of the Hungarians and the Italians against the Soviet lines, because my goal was to take control of these two hexes and therefore exploit the river. I think that was not the Don River, but the other river that flows into the Don as a new defensive line, basically. And then when I was looking at the map, I was like, okay, somehow the Soviet AI, because I know that the AI is cheating by playing without a fog of war, I thought, okay, maybe the AI saw that I am grouping my panzer divisions in the Don Bend area, and so it decided to squeeze in as many troops as possible. Maybe potentially even at the expense of the flanks, because when I looked also at the other regions of the front, I noticed that some hexes were only guarded by just one division, or even worse, one brigade. And so I said, you know what, fine, I will open the attack with the part of the 11th Army and part of the 6th Army. But then I realized that because of the zone of controls and the presence of kind of additional troops in a potential second line of defense, and because I wanted to preserve the firepower of the motorized and the panzer divisions of the 4th Panzer Army, I thought, okay, you know what, then it's time to motorize my 6th Army and just send my men forward onto vehicles behind the enemy lines. And even though the operation was successful, I was kind of, let's say, taken off guard, especially by the presence of this second line of defense, and by the fact that I even had to route the rifle division north of Kletskaya, just because it was hampering the movement of my temporarily motorized infantry units. And let's say, without having said this, that's already it for this brief and quick and short episode. As always, don't leave the channel, because there is another episode of this series coming up, plus at least one more concerning my online game versus my friend. And as always, folks, thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I wish you all the best, and well, I'll see you all again in the next episode.